It was 15 years ago. I was in elementary school. We had a class change in April. My new homeroom teacher was a young woman named Miss Smith. At lunchtime, Miss Smith told a girl sitting next to me not to eat her lunch provided from school. "Miss Maria Hurst, you don't pay for school lunch, so please don't eat it." Maria Hurst sitting next to me was a scrawny, skinny girl who always wore tattered clothes. And so apparently, her family is poor and her parents had not paid for school lunches since last fall. I felt sorry for her when I saw her just sitting there with her head down, alone with nothing served on her desk. But during lunchtime, Miss Smith also eats together in the same classroom. I couldn't share my lunch with her, so I left the bread, wrapped it in a napkin, and secretly hid it in my desk. After lunch was over and Miss Smith had left the classroom, I handed it to Maria. "You can eat this." "What can I?" "Thank you, Brian." At the time, I was an outcast among the classmates and had no friends in the same class. And persistent son, I started to talk to Mariah. But when I came home from school that day, I told my mother about Maria's family situation. "Mom, please make a lunchbox for Maria." When I asked her to do so, she said, "Oh, poor her. That don't might to doster is inferior. If she can't eat her school lunch, it's not good for her physical development, and I'm sure she'll be too hungry to study." "That's no problem at all. I make your father's lunchbox every day anyway, so it doesn't matter for one more person." My mother gladly agreed. The next day at lunchtime, when I handed my mother's homemade lunchbox, Bria's eyes widened in surprise. "Here, my mom wanted me to give you this." "Is this for me?" "Yes. I told her about you, and she said to take it to you." "Are you sure?" "Thank you." Brian. She ate her lunch in a hurry before Miss Smith came back to the classroom. It seems Maria's house is in the same direction as mine. The one day on, as we walked, Maria told me her personal story. "My father doesn't work, and yet he spends money on gambling. He takes all the money that my mother earns from working too. That's why they're having a hard time making ends meet and are in debt." Seeing her wearing the same tattered clothes every day, I took pity on her. Our classmates just looked at her from a distance. It was the same for her too, that Maria and I had no friends. After that, we started meeting up in the morning and going to school together. The guys in class asked, "Are you guys dating?" But I tried not to let it bother me. I was never very good at talking to people, but for some reason, I felt comfortable talking to Maria. I didn't realize it myself, but I guess I was lonely without friends. I felt very happy to be able to talk with her. We talked about many things on the way to and from school. We talked about our family, favorite foods and animals, homework, TV shows we had watched the day before, and so on. And I found out that she loves cats. Though she can't keep them in her own home, she said that although she cannot keep a cat at home, her only pleasure is to occasionally visit a nearby shrine, which is a very favorite hangout for stray cats. I have a cat at my place, so why don't you come check it out sometime? Oh, you don't mind? I'll go. When I brought her home after school that day, my mother welcomed her with open arms. When a mongrel cat showed up, Maria's eyes lit up. So cute. What's his name? It's Tiger. Come here, Tiger. Maria looked very happy as she held the cat, let it play with his toys, and fed him treats. Seeing her big smile, which she never shows at school, made me kind of happy too. The evening came quickly, and my mother prepared dinner for her. Maria, can you tell me your home phone number? I'll call your mother to tell her you're here with us. My mother called her house. My mother was talking to the person on the other end of the phone about something for a while. Since that day, Maria has been having dinner at our house every night. Her mother comes home late from work every night. Her father is home, but he never does any housework. So, Maria always eats dinner late. My mother agreed with her parents to take care of her meals. Every day after school, Maria came to my house. We spent every day after school until dinner time doing homework and playing with the cat. But after about a year of this, Maria had to move out from the city. Her parents divorced, and Maria and her mother had to go to her mother's family home in another state. And before the move, Maria and her mother came to our house to say goodbye. You all have been very kind to us all the time. We will never forget, no matter what. Her mother thanked us many times. Oh no, it's okay. It was my pleasure to have her with us. If you are in trouble, we help each other, so please don't worry about it. My mother had a strong sense of justice and was a kind person. I respect her very much. I don't remember what conversation I had with Mariah at that time. I've never seen her since that day. We sent Christmas cards every year, but that stopped after 5 or 6 years. Then I graduated from university and got a job at a precision machinery manufacturer. I was assigned to the sales department, and this year will be my 3rd year. I took over some business and developed new ones, and now I am in charge of a number of clients. Good morning. Brian, Mr. Fleurs, a senior employee sitting next to me, calls out to me. Good morning. Well, tomorrow we have a business meeting with our client AB Electric. It's a big deal that could be the company's future. So let's get into it. Are the preparations already made? Yes, please check them later. While we were talking, the office clerk called Mr. Flores. Upty pregnant some more Claires. Electric is on the phone. As soon as Mr. Flores picked up the phone, his face turned pale. What? That can't be? Yes, I see. I'm sorry. I need to right now. Oh no, please. Can you give us one more chance? Wait a minute. After the call was disconnected, he remained in a daze, still holding the receiver. What's wrong? That's when I called out to him. Mr. Flores turned to me and said, Bran, you told AB Electric the wrong date and time for the meeting, didn't you? They thought the meeting was yesterday. They were furious that they think we canceled the meeting without notifying them. This deal is over. It's all your fault, but it was you contacting them about the schedule, wasn't it? You're blaming me for the mistake. I wanted to say those words back to him exactly as they were. In the first place, I didn't contact the client about the schedule. Mr. Flores adjusted the schedule and told me about it later. And now he was trying to blame it on me. Mr. Flores reported to his supervisor, and the section manager went to apologize to AB Electric on his behalf, but it was too late. In the end, the deal with AB Electric failed. That's when the section manager, Mr. Wood, came back. He said to me, "Brian, what have you done? Action, because of you, an important deal for the company's future has been ruined. So what the hell are you going to do about it?" But Mr. Wood, it wasn't me contacting them about the schedule. It was Mr. Flores. Shut up. Don't make excuses. You've caused damage to the company. You're going to get fired. Mr. Wood's habit of talking fired when he was angry. Wait a minute. I don't want to quit my job. Then go get a contract for the same amount of money that was going to sell it to AB Electric within 3 days. Otherwise, you're fired. That's impossible. Getting a contract within 3 days is impossible. I was at a loss when I heard his words. But then, I suddenly remembered there was a customer who was considering buying the same machine that we were selling to AB Electric. The company was always stingy with the price and kept trying to negotiate a discount. I had half given up on the idea that they were not interested in buying anymore. But I had no choice but to deck a company to sign the contract at any cost. I hurriedly revised the quotation and made an appointment with the client. When I arrived at the client company, Mr. Jones was in charge. "I have a new quotation for you today." When I presented the quotation, Mr. Jones took it in his hand and looked at it sullenly. "Well, can't you give us a lower price? It is indeed difficult to go any further. We have already adjusted the price many times." I made a troubled expression and pleaded to Mr. Jones. "Please, Mr. Jones, our equipment will definitely be useful to your company. We will do regular maintenance for you too." Mr. Jones folded his arms and groaned. "Even so, my superiors won't give me the okay at this price. I'd like to buy it if I could. If that's the case, could you please give me a chance to explain this situation to your boss?" "I think that would be difficult. My boss is very busy. Please give me a chance. Please let me talk over dinner or something." I pleaded desperately. "If it sells, it will cost a couple of $100,000 per unit. If this equipment sells well, the company would probably be willing to pay a small entertainment fee." I understood. I'll ask him and see what he says. My boss is out of the office right now, so I'll get back to you later. That's fine. I look forward to hearing from you. Mr. Jones saw me off, and we left the reception room. Just then, the elevator opened and an elderly man entered the office. "Oh, that's my boss. Mr. G-Man, may I have a word with you?" Kutchnim of Miss Puster Jones ran up to him as soon as he saw his boss. "I see. So this is Mr. Jones' boss." Mr. Jones explained the situation to Mr. Green, the department manager. Then, to my surprise, Mr. Green suddenly started yelling at me. Do you really think buying dinner or entertaining us will seal the deal with your company? How many times do I have to tell you that we can't buy at that price? If you can't get a better price, get the hell out of here. Don't come back again. Yeah. Did I do something so bad that I gotta be suddenly yelled at like this? Well, I was puzzled. Mr. Jones pushed my back and secretly whispered in my ear. I'm sorry, my boss, he seems to be in a bad mood today. He always takes it out on someone when he's in a bad mood. Apparently, this department manager has a very nasty personality. But if I don't get his okay, the deal won't go through. If I don't get this contract, I will be fired. As I was pondering what to do, I heard footsteps coming from the corridor, clicking on the heels. Wait a minute, Mr. Green. I heard a young woman's voice and turned around. There was a beautiful woman in a suit standing there. Miss Cox, may I help you with something? She steps gingerly in front of the department manager, who tilts his head. Make Mr. Green. I have looked at their company's information materials, and I think their equipment would be useful for our company. I hope you will positively consider purchasing it. She looked Mr. Green straight in the eye and said, Well, I see. If Mr. Cox says so, then by all means, let's purchase it. You go ahead with the contract procedure right away. Mr. Green turned to me and said, So, huh? I couldn't reply right away. For a moment, I didn't understand what had happened. Well, are you saying that you want to purchase it? Yes, I do. I can't deny the president's daughter's request. A president's daughter. Shibao or connection? When I looked at her, she smiled and said, Brian, long time no see. Don't you remember me? Even if you say so, I don't think I know any Cox. But as I stared at her face, I began to feel as if I had seen her somewhere before. Let's see, who was she? She calls out to me again. Would you recognize me if I said Maria Hurst? Do you mean that Maria Hurst who used to come to my house and play with me when we were in elementary school? I didn't recognize her at all because she looked so beautiful and different. Oh, it's been a long time. It's been like 15 years. Yes, it has been like that. I saw your business card attached to the file and I thought it might be yours. Options? You were right, but you were the president's daughter. Actually, my mother remarried when I was in high school. I used my new father's last name. I know it's unusual. I didn't know that. Hey, I don't want to stand around here talking. So if you want, why don't we go out for a drink tonight to catch up? Sure, let's do it. We exchanged contact information right then and promised to go out for a drink after work that day. When I returned to the office and reported my results, Mr. Wood was wide-eyed and surprised. Did you really get the contract? Yes, I did. We haven't received the contract yet, but we did get the go from the department manager. Brian, you did well. Mr. Wood was delighted. I looked at Mr. Flores and saw him hiding uncomfortably at his desk. That night, after work, I headed to the bar where I was meeting with Maria. When I arrived, Maria was already there, waiting for me. Thank you for your help today. Thanks for saving my life. Thanks to you. I didn't get fired. What? What do you mean? I told her what had happened, and she sympathized with me. It's terrible of him to blame his own failure on a colleague. Yeah, well, but I'm glad I got the business deal thanks to you. Really? Thank you. When I thanked her, Maria smiled shyly. I'm honored if I could help you. I'm the one who has always been grateful to you. Actually, I've been apart since I moved away, but I'm glad to see you again. But what? Maria told me that after her mother got divorced, her mother began dating a man who was the manager of the sales office where she worked at the time, and later they got married. A few years later, her husband's father, the president of the New York headquarters, fell ill. The family moved here to succeed him as president. You should have told me if you came back. Sorry, but you stopped responding to my Christmas greeting cards first, didn't you? Ma'am? Is that right? That's right. That's why I thought maybe you had a girlfriend or something, so I was holding back. I see. I don't have any girlfriend. Girlfriend? What? You don't have a girlfriend? No, I don't. Fetch then. Isn't it some kind of fate that we met here again? Don't you think? If you like, let's go on a date. I was so surprised by her sudden confession that I froze on the spot. But of course, I didn't mind. In fact, I was happy. When I was in elementary school, I enjoyed being with her, and when she left, for some reason it made me happy too. I remembered that feeling. Of course, gladly. I held out my right hand in front of her, and she gently took it. Really, I'm so happy. Thus, Marie and I started dating, and 2 years later, I proposed to her and we got married. Chocolate dinner is ready. But playing with her cat, she looks exactly the same as she did in her childhood. She went through a lot of hardships when she was a child. I want to be there to support her and make her happy from now on.